Okay. So from what I know about cerebral palsy, um, my my best guess is that there really should be no difficulty in you being able to have that kind of an experience with your boyfriend. But you are the best judge of how your body works and what you can and can't do and what's difficult and what isn't difficult in terms of your mobility. But let me ask you, do you have pretty normal skin sensation from the waist
I
down?
can feel everything.
Okay. So the fact that you can feel everything tells me that you should be able to experience sex and have that feeling, those feelings in the same way that anyone else ought to be able. Mechanically, in terms of moving around, it may be a little more challenging. You know, the one thing that I don't remember from your chart, so if you can help me out here, do you need assistance going to the bathroom at all in terms of moving your bowels or holding your urine? I'm sorry. I know
No.
that's kind of an embarrassing
No.
thing to ask.
I've never been asked that before.
Okay. Do you ever have accidents?
I would say that if I hold it too long, I do, but I never, I never look down and, oh my god, all of a sudden I just peed.
Okay, great. So what you're telling me is that the nerves and your spinal cord and your muscles and sort of your sensation are really pretty intact. I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's more the mobility issue, the moving around easily, that takes longer for you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, especially what you've told me about Jack and the fact that he has a sister with cerebral palsy, this isn't a totally unfamiliar world to him.
Yeah, but his sister's different.
Yeah, of course. Oh, is she different? Is her the severity of her condition different?
Yeah, like she is 12 and she still wears diapers and she can't sit up and things like this.
Okay.
So, I don't know if sex would be quite as much as an option for her as it would be for like me and him.
Sure.
But I think he's willing to work on it.
Well, you know what? I really think that's the bottom line, is you're gonna be in the position where you need to teach him about what you can and can't do and what's comfortable and what works and what doesn't. And I think you two are gonna kind of have to explore that together. Do you feel comfortable talking to Jack about that? Because I think he's gonna need your help.
Yeah, no, we can talk about it.
Well, you know, that's great. I think that's actually the most important thing here. And the other piece I want to offer to you, Erin, is that it's important for you to be able to say what you want and what you don't want, and that you feel safe in the relationship stopping if at any point you kind of feel like things aren't going the way you want. Do you think that you could do that with Jack?
Do you think I could break up with him?
Oh, no, I meant, like, let's say you guys decide to have sex. Um, and as things are going along, you change your mind for
Oh,
whatever reason.
I think I'd just be like, I don't want to have sex right now.
And you think that
And
he would be
say,
supportive?
okay.
Okay, great. That's very important because this is kind of a big step for both of you.
Yeah, but he's a nice guy. I think we're okay.
Okay, that's great. I just want to make sure that you feel like he's somebody who'd be responsive to your needs even if they changed in the moment. Okay, great. Now the other thing that really the thing that you came in for is about pregnancy prevention. There's another piece to that, and that is keeping you and Jack healthy and safe and making sure that you guys don't end up with a sexually transmitted infection. Have you guys talked about condoms?
Yeah, he's gonna wear them.
Excellent. That's pretty much what I tell all young people who are specifically not trying to make a baby. If you're not trying to make a baby, condoms have to be a part of the picture. Above and beyond that, the fact that you want to be on oral contraceptives as well is great, because that's going to really give you double protection to make sure that you guys don't end up with a pregnancy that you didn't plan or you didn't want. Okay? So Erin, tell me, when you and Jack get together, how do you get around town? Does he drive? Do you drive?
He drives.
Okay. Now you're 16, right? You did
Mhm.
turn 16.
Mhm.
Have you, do you have your driver's permit?
No.
Okay. Have you gone for a driver's assessment?
Yes.
And how did that go?
I didn't pass.
I'm sorry. So what was the concern there? Do you know why you didn't pass?
They said that my muscles don't work well enough to drive.
Okay. So when did you find that out?
A couple months ago.
And how are you doing with that?
It's okay.
Yeah? Were you disappointed?
Yeah.
So, at this point, is that something that you did get to talk to with your folks?
No.
So you guys didn't have a discussion at home about that?
No.
Okay. And what was your thinking when you went in for the driver's assessment? Were you thinking that you would be able to drive?
I was thinking that I was going to pass.
Okay. So you, Erin, that sounds to me like something that must have been disappointing. Is it something you still think about?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're with Jack, he drives,
Mhm.
and I'm guessing he's pretty comfortable helping you get into the car and out of the car.
Yeah.
Because, does he help with his sister?
Yeah.
At home? Okay. Okay. Any questions about that, or any concerns about the future?
If you can't drive, how do you get to work?
Okay, well, that's a really good question. There are definitely adults out in society who don't drive and who find other ways of getting around. That's something that probably it would be really important to explore. What are the possibilities? And the good news is you're used to public transportation. You've used the school bus now for a number of years, and I bet there would be ways to work around that, whether that means carpooling with people, family members, and relying on public transportation. But you're right, it isn't the same as being able to drive on your own, but it really shouldn't necessarily limit you getting to where you want to go. And it just means that you get to be a little more creative about it than maybe someone else. Anything else come up for you when you think about your future? And particularly I'm thinking about when you finish high school. Are you planning to go to college away from home, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you envision that you'll be living in the dorms?
Maybe.
Okay. And have you begun to look at colleges?
No.
Not yet. Okay. That may be, this may be a good time to begin to look at colleges and see, first of all, what kinds of schools you're interested in and where you might be interested in going, and then specifically asking what their facilities are for accommodating a walker and making sure that they're kind of up to code. Has that kind of an issue ever prevented you from going someplace where you wanted to go?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it something that you were able to talk to someone about, or kind of bring up as an issue so that things could change?
No.
Okay. How comfortable are you bringing up that sort of thing? Do you think that's something you could do?
I don't like it.
Yeah. Does it make you feel like you're asking for something you shouldn't, or what don't you like about it?
I don't know, maybe my mom does that a lot, and
Okay.
it's so embarrassing when she does it. Oh my god. It's like, Mom, I don't want to know you right now. Stop.
So, Erin, do you think that there might be a way that it could be done differently? Or would you do it differently?
I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it. Okay. So, this sounds like something that maybe you and I can brainstorm and talk about, and maybe include other people that you think would be helpful. Um, Quite frankly, now that I think of it, I wonder if having a conversation with folks at the Courage Center might be useful, because I bet this is an issue that comes up a lot for people who access that facility. And now you're 16, you're really only a couple of years away from leaving home. It would be very important for you to feel confident and feel like you have the skills you need in order to ask for what you need as an able-bodied person out in public who may have special needs around mobility and, need to have facilities accommodate your walker. So I'm really glad we talked about this today, because it sounds like it's something you haven't tried yet, talking about. You don't feel particularly comfortable, but boy, is it going to serve you well to be able to have these skills under your belt. And my guess is it'll be much easier if we explore this now than when you're out on your own and you have to do it all by yourself. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you like to do this? Would you like to take this issue back to some of the folks you know at the Courage Center, or would you like my help with it?
I want your help.
Okay. So we'll come up with a plan. So Erin, I don't know if this is something that you've thought about before, but now that you're 16, you pretty much in the next few years are going to need to think about transitioning your care from coming to this pediatric office to finding an adult doctor, somebody who really focuses on adult medicine and adult health care. And I don't know if that's something that you've thought about yet or your folks have talked about yet. Has that come up for you?
No.
Okay. So, as you know, I really am a specialist in health and well-being of young people up until about 18 years of age. And so it's really important for you and your parents to have a discussion, and I'm happy to be part of that, where we begin to figure out where you're going to be when you leave home, and making sure that you have access to good medical care wherever you end up, and that we identify a provider for you, or you identify and find a provider that you trust and you like, who will be able to help you with your healthcare issues from then on. Do you feel comfortable bringing this up with your folks, or is that something that you'd want me to do, or maybe we could all do together?
Yeah.
Which one?
You can do it.
Would you be willing to be part of the conversation?
Okay.
I think it would really help for us to be able to make sure that what we're talking about in this decision includes your input, because you really are the one who's going to be eventually making your own healthcare decisions. Actually, you're making a lot of your own healthcare decisions right now, and a lot of them are good, I have to say. But in terms of picking who you like, feeling like you trust that person, and feeling comfortable asking for medical support as issues come up. Anything you can think of right off the bat that you are worried about in terms of your future health or your future well-being?
Not really. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a little worried for like a pap smear or whatever, but.
Okay, so you mean about having your first female pelvic exam?
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that we probably should do sometime in the near future, now that you're thinking about becoming sexually active. I do want to share with you, though, that we don't do that exam until after a woman has had penile-vaginal intercourse. And so once that becomes an issue for you, feel free to call the clinic and make an appointment, and then when you come back, I promise you, I will explain everything about the exam, and I'll do my best to provide as gentle an exam as I possibly can.
Okay.
But I'm really glad you brought that up, because that's a very important part of you keeping yourself healthy and safe.
Okay.
Great. Well, it was great to see you, Erin, and I'm just going to ask you a few more questions about your health and well-being, and then we'll go ahead and write that prescription for the birth control pills.
Okay.
So, Erin, one last question. Is there anything in specific that you have any questions or concerns about in terms of your current health or your healthcare needs right now?
Not really. I'm a little worried about like the pap smear thing or whatever
Or the
goes on
pelvic
there.
exam? I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is absolutely another part of your health care that is going to become something important now that you're planning to become sexually active. And typically we don't do the pelvic exam, the female genital exam, until a young woman has already had penile vaginal intercourse. So if you don't mind making a call to the clinic and making an appointment to see me after your first experience with Jack, sometime after that, then we can go ahead and set up that exam. And at that time, I will explain to you what the exam involves. But let